computer. 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome to Pop Talk. This is episode 2. This is November the 24th, I hope. So with that, I am your moderator and host, Professor Nims. We also have Bosston, Jarod, don't forget the S, and my man Coach Dave in there. And guys, I think one of the best kind of media names out there, the Casual Ran. So we got a lot, so together we make up the Pundits of Pugilism, and this is Pop Talk. We got a lot to go to this week. That's why I wanted to kind of jump into it. Go over the agenda. First, we have Terrance. He becomes the first person to stop Porter. Also, Porter retirement, and Crawford leaves top rank. That was kind of back to back. We also have Lopez and Kambosos, but there's also some new news that's kind of been just hit the wire that we will address at that time. But and going into it, so we have Thanksgiving coming up tomorrow. Usually that's the time we want to talk about things that we're thankful of course, and everything. But I think that it's really appropriate that we start off and let the Casual Ran kind of give his spiel, because I feel he's gonna be eating a lot of crow tomorrow. Because Terrence Crawford, my friend, he really kind of took everything that you had an issue about, and almost in one night was able to kind of squash all of those things. But go ahead, the Casual Ran, you have the floor.
But at the same time, we all before this in episode 1 said that Crawford was going to win. I thought that Porter was just going to pull it out and just lose on the card, which I think he still could have done. I think his pops, it's on two. You see it on two hands. You think his pops saved him, or the pops just being the pops and saying, "Well, you ain't trained the way I wanted you, so I'm gonna quit it." I think he could have survived 2 more rounds if he chose to. So I am I wouldn't say a Crawford hater. I just said that he never proved that he was the man at 147 before the Porter fight. Even after the Porter fight, there's new questions coming up. I think he deserves to be in the conversation, yes, but you know what I'm saying. I still don't give him. I'm not crowning him. I'm not. What's the Vikings coach said? Are you gonna crown him? I'm not crowning the Joker that he's the top at 147 or pound for pound king at this point.
So we're actually going to throw it to Bosston, Jarod. But one thing, I was really kind of shocked by Errol Spence's just reaction to just everything. Like I was just shocked. I mean, like the conversations afterwards, his body language, I was really surprised.
Well, if you listen to him afterwards, 2 things. Most people are saying that he was scared because he didn't go in the ring, which is not correct, because it was a top-ranked fight. The top-ranked promotions won't let a PBC fighter walk into the ring and announce another fight. That wasn't going to happen. And then second, if you sit there and listen to him and listen to what he's saying, he wasn't mad at the turnout. He was mad at the fact that the father stopped the fight. He was like, man, he said he had Porter up, and he said he still think that Porter could have fought.
Well, now he's mad because Crawford did something nobody's done. And
something he didn't do.
Something he didn't do particularly.
Something he didn't do.
Well, I mean, even if so, you listen to Porter's podcast, he was saying that, yeah, he was frustrated and mad and he got put down. But he said that Spence hurt him more than Crawford hurt him. So you can't keep saying, oh, he was mad because he did something. No, it came out his Porter's mouth. He was hurt more with Spence than he was Crawford. Came out the man's mouth.
So I mean, Bosston,
I'm gonna go ahead and defer to Dave.
Prediction was, yeah. Well, just real quick, because your prediction was actually pretty spot on. It wasn't as good as
I
mine.
wasn't. I was totally off. I was totally out now. See, I'm a big on. I'm a pool player, and I believe in it. You call 8-ball corner pocket, and that shit bounce around all over the table and just end up in the corner pocket that you know. I don't call that. I thought that Crawford was going to dominate from start to finish.
Oh.
That's definitely not what happened. But I want Dave to go because I want Dave's thoughts from the trainer's standpoint about some of the stuff he saw in the fight, specifically the end, and some of the comments he heard after the fight. I'm gonna go after Dave. I'm gonna work off what Dave has to say. And I'll talk more about how I saw the fight, but I'm interested to hear what Dave thinks about from a trainer's standpoint. How all that shit went down, because there's a lot of stuff that I have questions about, but I want to hear Dave's take.
Yeah, man. All right. So y'all guys know Professor Nim, took all our notes. I called the 10th round. I disagreed with Jarod, and I said, no, this is gonna be a tough fight, and it was. So, and I said that Terrance was gonna stop this dude. So here's the deal from a trainer's perspective. One of the things that and first of all, they don't even cut me off, Randy, but let me go ahead on and say Terrence Crawford gonna probably stop Errol Spence too. So let me go on the record and say that now. So what I like about it is, to be honest with you, man, that fight to me was definitely about attrition and who could stay on point with the fight game. I think daggone Sean Porter came in with a great fight plan, which that fight plan is, his style is totally different from kind of like how Errol Spence fight. What made that fight difficult for Crawford was that, man, look, Sean Porter has gotten okay with his boxing, but he was unpredictable. He was there was bursts of speeds. He was in and out. He was on his toes. He was bouncing. He was just kind of he kind of boxed a lot better than what I thought people would think. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of Terrence Crawford, you heard his corner one time say, "Don't get in no slugfest with this guy if you ain't got to. Just keep on boxing him and let it come." Both Professor Nim and myself kept on saying, if Terrence Crawford is turning shots up underneath, he's gonna stop Sean Porter, because Sean Porter is a fighter that when you slip in punches, he professional or not, he bends more at the waist instead of at the knees, and he makes that number 7. And Crawford caught the boy. What set it up was the whole uppercut, whatever. Also, people are underestimating daggone Terrence Crawford's strength. They think that this man, just because he's lean, they forget that this dude was a wrestler, and he manhandled Sean Porter, picked him up, turning him. It's just So that's why I'm saying
it's a wrestler from Nebraska, right? I used to in Oklahoma, so it's those guys out there are bred to like wrestle out there.
That's serious wrestling country out there. That Nebraska, Pennsylvania, Iowa.
So my point of it is, from a trainer perspective, is this: telling you, number one, both corners had great fight plans. Number two, it was just about who could keep their fighter on game and execute. Sean started lunging in like he used to do back in his early days, started getting desperate. That corner told daggone Crawford, man, stay on point, box this guy, don't get in exchange unless we got to. So just that, and that's just the bottom line thing of it. Reason why I think he's going, and we ain't got to get into it, but my thing on why he's going to get into to Earl, and to be honest with you, that fight with Earl is a 50-50 chance, because you saw how wide Crawford's punches were. Earl throws a little bit straighter punches than doggone Porter. So Earl got a 50% chance of daggone catching doggone on Crawford. And make no mistake about it, and I'm a hardcore Crawford fan, but Earl got a chance at really getting between those wide punches.
Yeah.
For Crawford though, man, that boy is the closest thing to daggone haggler than I've seen out here. Switching back and forth, can rumble and can absolutely box you, and smart. And I'm gonna tell you, that boy's lateral movements, Terrence Crawford's lateral movements is dangerous for any fighter, man. So that's just my take on it
I think and I thank you for bringing in that point about the game plans, because I think they both had the right game plan.
Yes,
I think that shouldn't be. I think so. I think so.
I think Porter had the right game plan, and Crawford's team was caught very, very off guard by the game plan that Porter's team.
Oh my God! Wow. So like, I totally disagree, but I mean, respectfully. But with that said, why did you think that Terrence was not gonna have a problem with Porter? I don't see that.
No. I thought that Crawford was gonna dominate the fight. And I
don't think he dominates, he doesn't have a problem. Like, remember, like we talked about, like I said, he's gonna have a couple of rough moments. I think like Crawford's style, you can he didn't get smacked in the head and a couple of times, and he was actually maybe like losing the fight on the card.
To it. I want to ask Dave. I was curious, Dave, more your thought on the.
Hold on, time out. Jared, you have not answered one question. Why are you?
Because I want to work on what Dave was saying.
I know, but he gave a brilliant spiel in there. Just give.
Right, but he didn't get to what I was hoping he would get to. But go ahead, I'll talk. Go ahead. What you want me to say?
Because we do need to kind of move on, but I will come to you first on the next one on there. But to me, the fact that the reason that I felt that he get hurt from a shot from under is like, so part of it is that when he does have that tendency to kind of roll into those punches. We've seen that before. But the thing is, when you roll into like an uppercut, like you're adding impact to it, and a lot of times you really don't see that punch. So you see a lot of people get hurt, really hard. And then Terrance is, like I say, he's a bit of a dichotomy. I knew that he was so sharp that he was gonna see that, right? You can see his mind working in there. But at the same time, he's still vulnerable enough that he makes exciting fights, because he does still throw, particularly from the left-hand stance, his punches do loop a little bit more. And I was surprised that he said, they asked him, like, when did you figure him out? And he said, around, he said, do y'all remember?
He said first.
He said the first round. And he's not lying. You know why? Because remember, I said he's not. Yes, he did. I said he's not going to switch his stance until about the fourth round. But he had already figured him out. I think it took some time.
What did he say? What did he say he figured out though? There was nothing to figure out. He had the reach on him. He had the reach. That's the first thing he said. I had the reach, and I just had to be patient, and then I hit him. And that's exactly what he did.
Bro, it's a lot, Randy. It's a lot more, Randy. It's a lot more that goes into that.
Porter started brushing in, started coming in.
No. It's like when somebody says that.
So he had it figured out. That was the game plan.
I mean, you making it sound real simple.
You know what?
Right.
But that's what he said, though. It was simple.
Okay, so with that said, all right, but I did kind of promise. But Randy, now we'll actually stay on you. What are your thoughts on Porter's retirement?
I mean, it is exactly what we will always say. It's like he don't want to be the gatekeeper. So there's nothing. He done fought everybody at 147. He's not gonna go down, and he already said he don't want none of Ennis. So there's, unless there's a Mikey Garcia or somebody.
Nah, Mikey's folks said hard pass on that shit.
So who there's nobody else.
There's Virgil Ortiz.
Back, but Ugas.
There's Virgil Ortiz and Ulga. That's it. And
Ortiz is the youngest. I don't think Porter's fighting any of the youngest.
I think he can win that fight. I think he can get a nice little piece of change winning that
It'll
fight
be
too.
good.
But
It doesn't really
what
prove
does it
it.
do for his
He's worried
legacy,
about
though?
legacy, I think, at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Well,
does
yeah,
nothing for
that's
his
his.
legacy.
Yeah. He's not going to get any extra kudos beating Virgil Ortiz. It just increase his bank account a little bit beating Virgil because I think he stops Virgil.
Yeah, and I don't think he's doing anything for money because he you know, he doing the PBC commentating. So
his father keeps all of his money in a piggy bank, right? So you know he's got it all, right? That's not.
Yeah, I think it was appropriate. He had kind of really reached the kind of, heights of his talent. I think he got the most of it. He's definitely one of the hardest working people in boxing. He came late to the sport, never really developed a kind of a clean style, but was effective. I actually thought that they had a good game plan that they really stuck to. I thought the more talented fighter. I thought it was a good time for him to step away. He does seem to have his faculties about him, and he does have a really strong career commentating afterwards. We don't have to spend a lot of time on that, but so Terrance Crawford leaves top rank with Bob Arum sitting right there. Of course, the old curmudgeon was not happy about that at all and everything. So what's your Bosston, Jarod? What's your thoughts on that one?
I think that Bob Arum is not losing one bit of sleep about Terrance Crawford leaving. I think he might not have been happy about the way Crawford did it. Being a 90-year-old dude, I think he'd have preferred that they do that, behind closed doors instead of on a stage like that. But I don't think Bob Arum is losing any sleep over Terrance Crawford leaving. I know I sent the text out a couple of days ago. No, maybe yesterday, whenever the pay-per-view numbers came out. And I know the pay scales in boxing are all out of whack, but Terrance Crawford is not a $6 million a fight fighter. I'm sorry, he's not. And if you adjust his pay, I get it. You'll have to adjust a bunch of other people's pay. But if it were my money, I'm not paying him $6 million a fight, not for averaging 200,000, just not getting my money back. And it's part of the reason why this Crawford and Spence fight has taken so long to materialize. It's not just because of the politics of the network, but it's because of the money involved. The amount of money these dudes are going to want.
What's his numbers again? You said 200,000?
He allegedly did 190,000 buys. And we talked about that, Cam, when you stepped away. This wasn't a very straightforward pay-per-view to buy. You had to have an ESPN Plus account. And then once you had created your ESPN Plus account, you would be able to buy the pay-per-view, which is not usually how it works.
They kind of get you to get the subscription.
Yeah, you normally just go through your cable provider.
It should have been a loophole. But so how many buys did Pacquiao have for his last fight?
Pacquiao, I'm not sure how much that did, honestly.
Wasn't it? It was under 5. Wasn't it like 3 something? What was it?
I don't remember. But the point is,
he got paid a lot more than Terrance Crawford. So
yeah, but Manny Pacquiao and Terrance Crawford, it's apples to oranges. You're not even talking
no. Like numbers are numbers.
Right, but Manny Pacquiao's popularity over the course of his
they should translate the numbers.
Transcends.
I don't care about that. They should translate to pay-per-view by numbers. He's not selling 1.2 million.
Care about that, but the people who are cutting the checks do care about that. And Terrance Crawford doesn't really have a leg to stand on.
That's going to be your argument that his.
Yeah, absolutely. Terrance Crawford has produced an average of 150,000 pay-per-view buys. I'm not paying you $6 million to fight.
$6 million doesn't sound like a lot for like the number 2, clearly the number 2 boxer in the world. He was fighting apparently his toughest opponent.
But
that's great. That's great.
Let's talk about this. So
what was the
undercard? The
undercard was
$6 million. You only going to be able to pay the fighter that he's going against maybe like less than $1 million. That's so much money going around. You know what I'm saying?
How can you pay like Pacquiao upwards of like 10 or 20 million? And then
star, Cam. He's an international star.
Yeah, but like the money has to be there. It has to be the numbers. It has to you have to make it make sense. You can't be like off of the cachet of this.
Yeah, but
we can
remember,
get this money.
Pacquiao was supposed to fight Errol Spence, right? Pacquiao was supposed to fight Spence. If you look at Pacquiao's last fight against Thurman, he did like 500,000 buys or 400,000 buys, something like that, against a guy
It's what
nobody
you have
knows
done
who
for me
Pete
lately.
Thurman
What
was.
I'm saying is like we have to be fair if we're gonna assess Terrence Crawford like that, because he's not making nowhere near what Pacquiao is. But Dave, what
doesn't generate the revenue that Pacquiao does? You're not even, and that's not even counting Pacquiao's overseas.
the guy had 11,000 people that came there. I mean, this guy brought people out. The guy can sell out stadiums. And
Terrence Crawford's not
but like
selling
let's kind of I think that let's see what happens when he goes to somebody else that knows how to handle a black fighter that's from Nebraska or somebody like that. So, I don't mean like Al Heyman seems like that.
It ain't Al Heyman. It ain't Al Heyman.
Really?
And he's staying away from Al Heyman.
Nope. When's the last time we even seen Al Heyman? What do you mean? I mean,
we never see Al Heyman. That's the trick. Because he don't want you to see him. When have you ever seen Al Heyman?
You know what? That's bad business. Because you see,
that's bad business.
It is. Al Heyman.
You want somebody like Don King all in your flag waving, all in your face waving flags?
Bob Arum is 90 years old, and he finds a way to make it to press conferences. He does interviews.
He is not a promoter. What are you talking about? Like you know who Al Heyman is, right? He is not a promoter.
I do know who Al Heyman is.
He is the genius behind all of these fighters.
To answer your last question, Cameron, Pacquiao did 200,000 pay-per-views on a last-minute switch to an relatively unknown Ugas.
Completely unknown.
So that you can't.
Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie, but
fight.
Numbers don't lie.
What's Pacquiao's career high pay-per-view though?
Come on. Oh, are we gonna do? You want to see what Pacquiao was doing? Like Pacquiao was a man in high school. I don't care about that. I want to talk about what he's doing right now. You sound like the dude talking about what has he done? Like what have you done for me lately? We know how this game works.
People who write the checks care about that stuff. And Manny Pacquiao was an international star. He went to Australia and they filled out that arena in Australia. You think Terrence Crawford to go to Australia and fill up a stadium? It ain't happening. He don't have the fan base. I'm sorry. He's a tremendously skilled boxer, but it takes more than skill to become a star in this sport. Look at a guy like Usyk.
I know, but what he does is like he stops his opponent. He did something nobody's ever done. He stopped Sean Porter. He put on a great fight. Let's get a guy credit.
I gave him a ton of credit for the performance. I'm talking about Terrence Crawford's value as a commodity.
It is because he goes, because he's worried about performance. He told you, I'm gonna go out there and stop this guy. And I told y'all, this guy is mean. He knows what he needs to do. He was gonna go. Like the reason that his pop saved him, that guy was gonna hurt him. He was buzzed. Yeah. That guy is a killer in there. The guy he was gonna get hurt. Like y'all wanted him to be laying face on, like flat on his face, like Wilder. No, his father was not gonna let him do that.
And we all picked Terrence Crawford to win. What that got to do with $7 million a fight? Let's hear from Dave, because Dave is actually in the business. Dave understands ticket sales and Mark. Dave, what do you think? Would you pay this man $7 million, $6 million a fight based off these numbers?
Yeah. All right. So look. I think First of all. All right. So right. I am in it. Help the guys. Help somebody start a promotion company. We done promoted 7 different fights. So the point of it is though, Jarod, the issue I got with your argument, and to some degree Randy's, is you guys are going. Man, I'm telling you, man. You got. What I hope that you guys come to is a holistic look at this damn sport, man. And Jarod, you going from 0 to dang on 100. And what I mean by this is take Ugas. Nobody knew Ugas. He probably couldn't have had no pay-per-view fights with him, not 1 or 2 or whatever, until he got the fight that he got. All right, till you get the fight that you get. So what you got to think about, it ain't no different than any other job. You get paid more as you in that job. Now listen, so Terrence Crawford just whooped Sean Porter's ass. So guess what? It's going up. Had Terrence Crawford, had these guys not been punks and running from Crawford, had he lumped up Keith, had he lumped up Danny, had he throughout his career, had he came on and lumped up somebody else, then the pay-per-view goes up in the same way that even Tanks did. So you're looking at this guy, Porter was the only one that said, guess what? Let's make it happen. Let's make this thing happen. So what I'm getting at is, yeah, Terrence Crawford, if Earl don't punk out, if somebody else don't punk out, the pay-per-view number's going to go up as you whooping ass, period. And that's the thing that you got to get. That's the thing that you got to get.
That's why I disagree with you, Dave. You know what I'm saying? Crawford is an excellent fighter, but it's two faults. It's his fault as the fighter and his promotion for the fighters that they chose. And the fighters that they chose didn't bring anything to build his credibility and his stamina up, so somebody was going to buy their next pay-per-view. So this is his first real good pay-per-view. But that don't give you a shot to the king. Just because you get one good fight don't mean you can.
Wait a second. Yeah, I don't agree with that.
Who's the king?
Wait a second.
So hold on.
Go ahead, Dave.
Listen, Bob Aaron get a pick for a job. So you mean to tell me that look, if he whoops. I don't care who promotes. I don't care. He whoops Sean's ass. He whoops Porter's ass. He comes back and he whoops. Let's say he whoops you guys' ass. And then on his haymaker, he said, "I'm gonna get a young guy Boots Ennis a chance." You gonna tell me that ain't gonna sell? Man,
no. You throwing out hypotheticals. I'm arguing based off of the record that he has right now. He don't deserve. So this is all of this conversation is leading to one thing. There shouldn't be a 50 at this point. Hold on. At this point, right now in the game, Crawford do not deserve a 50-50 split with Spence.
All right,
I'll tell you that right now.
Randy's kind of taking my argument, running in his own direction with it.
That's where it's going to end at. That's where it's going to end at. When you talk pay-per-view numbers and you talk,
I agree.
The only thing the natural conversation leads to when he fights Spence, it should be 50-50. And as of right now, there's no way in hell that
we don't. I'm a huge Terrence fan. I'm a huge Crawford fan.
Can get 50-50 with Earl Spence, who got 2 belts and doing over 300,000.
I agree with Randy to an extent, but here's all I was saying. Hold up. Let me to counter James' argument.
If you ain't getting $500,000, man, come on. It's not like, don't act like you a pay-per-view person.
And he doing double. He's doing double your work. He's doing double his work. So if he can't bring in 50% of what Spence is doing, why he going to share 50-50 with somebody?
Because I stopped the guy. That gave you your toughest fight. That's why.
My biggest point with this is when Mayweather fought De La Hoya. Fucking Mayweather made 25 mil. De La Hoya made 55 mil.
Hold on one second.
So that wasn't a 50-50 fight. So
you talking about, bro, are you serious? You talking about the cash cow, the guy that averaged like 1.5 million fighting Mayweather, who couldn't even get like 500,000. Are we gonna have that conversation?
Well, here's what I asked.
On a smaller scale, Crawford can't get 150,000.
Bro, I said if you ain't getting $500,000, don't even talk to me about no numbers.
Man, who getting the Canelo?
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is like when you negotiate.
Who's doing $500,000 now? Tell me who's doing $500,000 now.
Canelo and Wilder and Fury.
That's the Wilder fight, the mega fight. But when Fury fight the next fight, it ain't gonna be $1 million.
It's definitely not, and that was my point I was gonna make to Dave.
Alexander
Usyk was undisputed and went up to heavyweight and beat arguably the second biggest name in boxing. And if he chose to come over here to the US or anywhere else and put on a pay-per-view fight against another heavyweight, how many pay-per-view buys do you think that's going to do? Usyk, less than, you think 400 or 500 for Usyk?
No, 4 or 5.
4 or 5 buys? This nigga crazy. This is crazy. Usyk arguably has a better resume than Terrence Crawford. And he definitely has the better win than Terrence Crawford.
Top 3 pound for pound right
and
now.
That don't make Usyk no pay-per-view star. Usyk ain't selling out nothing anywhere. Maybe not even in Ukraine, where he's from. Maybe in Ukraine.
Really? Come on, really? Come on, man. You got to understand, they have a whole audience over there. Like, this dude fought like...
That's the equivalent of Cam. That's the equivalent of Crawford going to Omaha and selling out one of those arenas there, which he can do, but he can't leave there and sell out some other place, just like Usyk can. And Usyk has got the better resume. Usyk been whooping ass, better ass.
He does have the better resume. He doesn't have the better.
My point of it is this. My
notoriety.
point is what makes the pay-per-view, what sells the numbers is the matchup of the fights. Period. It's the matchup of the fights. If there's no other top folks trying to fight Crawford, then it's not going to happen. Had these guys not been a bunch of just big breast women scared of Terrence Crawford, his pay-per-view numbers would have been significantly more higher had these guys would have fought him. That's the only point that I'm getting at. I'm not even arguing.
How are you saying he's running? He went the top rank when those guys was at 147 at PBC when he was at 140. So why didn't he go to PBC where the 147 killers at and force
at
them
135 and at 135?
But look,
Because he wants to be
I'm not gonna get into hypothetical.
a big
He might
fish
not
in
have
a
went
small
PBC.
pond instead of being with all of them. Like he could be the man over there. That makes sense.
But you see how y'all
Let Dave talk. Y'all talking over Dave.
Two facing the same coin.
Let Dave
He
talk.
purposely went the top rank to be the big dog. But then now you saying PBC fighters are scared of him. He should have went to PBC.
Because
They are scared. They are scared. They are scared. Let's be clear about that. They are scared. They are scared.
They won't even say his name.
They are scared of him. But
Okay.
my thing is this. I don't know that him beating Keith Thurman and Ulgas makes him a bigger star. I think you have to kind of do that outside of the ring more so than you have to do it inside of the ring, especially now in 2021.
Hey, look, man, I'm always gonna come at it from a holistic point of view, bro. That's just it, man. I'm not ever when I'm talking about this sport, I'm not ever gonna be any domain, any category of a fighter any part of his fight game that you're talking about, from making money to whooping ass to management, it's never a tunnel vision thing with me. And Cam hit it on the head. I'm not gonna say why didn't he this, that, why didn't he this, that. If I think I'm gonna go somewhere and be top dog, and then they end up just kind of turning on me, that ain't my fault. Bob Aaron did a piss poor job marketing doggone. He's doing a much better job with Shakur Stevenson than he's done with Terrence Crawford. So I'm gonna look at it from the holistic point of view. Even if you look at it, even Muhammad Ali was out there whooping ass. Muhammad Ali was outside the ring. He was an advocate. He made that superstardom himself, and it wasn't just on boxing. So you can't never take just a tunnel vision when you're talking about this doggone sweet science, baby. You can't do it. So I'm saying that Terrence Crawford would damn sure be a mega star. Number one, had these guys fought him and not ran from him. And then number two, if he was as vocal as out there as doggone, not doing nothing stupid like the Charlo brothers, but look at Mayweather, marketing, man, this cat could have been a major star. A major star. And then if you think about it also, look at even Marvin Hagler, how late he got started in his career. You want to Google something, Google what he made on his first fight compared to what Ray Leonard made coming out of the Olympics. So it's just a holistic view. But is this man a pay-per-view star? The numbers don't lie. Right now, you can say, no, the numbers don't lie. But if you put yourself as a promoter, okay, and what would you do? I would have this guy out there on the circuit, talking. I would have this guy fighting those names that's going to draw those crowds.
The people had to fight him because you got Mayweather didn't start to even get near a star until he fought. Gotti. Well, you know what I'm saying? So he went and stopped them. That gave him a little bit, but then when he fought and beat the Golden Boy, then it's about the matchups, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's about it's about those match. Like people have to give him the opportunities, though. I just want
to say this one last thing about this, because Dave keeps saying the other side was scared. You can go back 2 years. There's 4 belts, right? Three of them are controlled by PBC. When Earl Spence got one, he said that, look, I'm gonna take care of my side of the street, get these belts, and then I'll start looking across. So it wasn't a run, it was a smart business move. All right, I'm gonna wrap up 2. He got 2. If it wasn't for the eye socket, he'll have all 3 on the PBC side, and then set this fight up with Terrence Crawford.
The problem is, Randy, smart business and ducking. There's a thin line between smart business and ducking, and I
don't see how you say ducking when you not gonna make it. So when promotions, if Spence fight Crawford under top rank, they would have to split that promotion, right?
Oh, you mean a cross promotional fight?
Yeah, cross promotional. You gotta split that money.
Yes,
so
yes.
why does it make sense? Why doesn't it make sense for me to fight all 3 of these to get me belts on PBC side? I'm not splitting money with anybody. He making more money and then go do the cross promotional event.
Randy, I mean, who do you like in that fight?
I don't see how y'all keep saying
Randy,
that he's winning.
Who do you like in that fight? Randy, who you like in that fight?
You talking about Earl?
I need to see Spence one more time from the accident. But pre-accident, I put all my money on Spence. After this accident, I need to see one more time.
Hey, look, Jarod hit something on the head. And you know me and Jarod, you know what I'm saying? You know me and Jarod be banging head, but he hit something on the head. He talking about that thin line between, ducking and the business. Randy, I'm telling you, it's the same thing. You think about the country of Iran. Plausible deniability. Plausible deniability. So,
but this was said 2 years ago. So you know what I'm saying? I'm like, it makes sense to clean out your own backyard and then reach out across the street. That's more money for Spence. I think that was a smart move. And as the promoter, you're going to promote that. So PBC is telling them to stay in-house, get all the belts in-house, and then you can go talk about fighting at Crawford, and it'll be a bigger fight.
Yeah, but it's not though. That shit backfired. I don't think it is a bigger fight now.
To a degree. So Randy got a good point. I mean, in all honesty,
who's the bigger fight, Jarod? How you gonna say
what I'm saying? I feel like the fight was bigger after the Mikey Garcia fight. Crawford Spence would have been bigger after the Mikey Garcia fight than it would be now. Because now people have got questions about Spence.
No, I mean, no, I thought he boxed well in that Mikey Garcia fight, and I thought it to me.
We're not talking about boxing well though, Ken. We're talking about numbers. I mean, he did 4.
Oh, you're talking about numbers.
I'm talking about numbers. I think the fight Crawford Spence would have done better pre the accident than it would now. I think
how you saying he would have done better? But 5 minutes ago, we was talking about before Porter fight, he was doing like 10,000 pay-per-view numbers.
Well,
I think now, like this is the time, like this, like it's hot. Like this is the time to strike if they want to.
I think Spence's drawing power has decreased a little bit. Honestly,
that's because of the accident.
There you go. I think Spence's value has decreased a little bit, and Crawford's has been about the same, maybe gone up a little bit. I think this fight does about 475,000 buys, between 450 and 500 buys.
I think both of them need one more fight before they fight, and they go back.
It's still nothing. It's not going to do anything over 500,000 buys.
No, that's not the point, Jarod. What he's saying is to build. Or are you saying that their actual fight still won't?
Their actual fight doesn't do anything more than 500,000 because they're going to sell it for $80, $90. That's not going to do anything over. They're just not big enough stars. Neither one of them.
Man,
that's great. In this day and age, that's still great numbers.
Okay, if that's your position,
those are good numbers. Those are good numbers. I mean, these are like, it's not like you're paying them like crazy Mayweather like salaries. Like people can eat off of that. Like with them, getting that.
The UFC is doing 800,000, 700,000, 600,000 per event. They have an event every month.
But the UFC
but look,
is a machine.
They are in the old thing. They have a whole card.
It's not even that, man. Like y'all got to give them credit. Like they have different series that are always on. They have a TV show. They have this. They have partnerships. It's not about that. Like boxing is not being smart about their branding and marketing.
Let me ask you this, Dave.
Hey, look, the hell with the numbers, man. Who ass gonna get whooped? I'm saying Crawford gonna whoop Spence's ass.
Yes,
No,
Crawford is
you know
probably
what they're
going to
talking
whoop
about right
Spencer's
now?
ass.
They
Yes.
You know what they're talking about right now? They're saying that
Who asked
Crawford's
you?
going to price himself out of the Spence fight, but a
Who
possibility,
asked you?
Charlo
Who going to fight Charlo?
Crawford.
Charlo got to get past Castano. To answer Dave's question, I got you, Dave. I can understand where your frustration comes from.
Let's get that.
Crawford might probably will stop Spence. I really, after last weekend's fight, I really think Spence and his people are really genuinely nervous about that fight. I really, really think they are. And I can see a situation where Spence is cagey enough to go to 12 rounds with him. I think you're going to see a staring contest in that fight. I think you'll see Spence turn into a counterpuncher and try to wait for Crawford to engage, and Crawford will wait for Spence to engage. I think that could, after watching last weekend's fight, I think it could be a really boring fight. I think it could really be a
understand what
fight.
you said. I don't understand what you saw that will make Spence scared from that fight. You know what I'm saying?
Power, Randy, his power.
Porter got knocked out because he bent over and started
but
reaching
Crawford,
and started going straight in. But
I'll tell you. Let me talk. And I'll tell you because I didn't get a chance.
It was a 50-50 fight going into like the 10th. Going in like the 8th.
Let me tell you, because I did not get a chance to get into my breakdown of the fight. I think that Crawford's power, his punch placement, his accuracy, and the angles, coupled with Spence is not very dynamic defensively. He covers, he tries to catch, and Crawford's going to be slipping punches around that boy's guard, changing the angles, turning them. He's got better feet. Crawford's going to land more shots on Spence early and often than he did against Porter. And I don't know if I don't know what is left of Spence's durability. His eyeballs falling out of his head. He's got fake teeth all in his mouth. The nigga got vibranium. He got all kind of prosthetics on his face now. I just don't know. And Crawford hits hard. This nigga is strong. He's accurate. He's fast. He's athletic. And Spence ain't.
Man, you were saying the same thing about when for the Crawford.
Randy, don't get mad that you losing your light skinned friend. He was just.
I did in Crawford, and I'll tell you what. Let me finish by saying this because I was dead wrong. Dave was right about how that fight went down. I think that was more a function of planning and preparation and execution of a game plan by the Porters than it was a lack of skill on the part of Crawford. I think Crawford's skill is what prevailed in the end, but I think what kept Porter in that fight and what made it competitive was the planning, preparation, and the game plan. I don't think that Crawford's team thought he was going to come out and show all those different looks, counter punching, coming forward, making it ugly at times, backing off, waiting. He did a lot of stuff in that fight that I don't think Crawford was ready for. And Crawford, there were points in that fight, maybe 10, 15, 20 seconds of just Crawford staring at Porter, juking and moving and doing this. And when I see fighters do that sometimes, I think this is a guy who is out of ideas. I don't know that that was the case, but there was a lot of stretches in that fight where Crawford just was looking at Porter. And I was like, nigga, you got to throw punches. You might be down. You got to throw punches. He was walking him down. He was cutting the ring off, but he was not initiating. And that emboldened Porter. I think, this nigga's not going to throw punches. Let me get active so the judges see me active. Now that backfired on him because of Crawford, because of that reach. Porter had to close so much distance, and Crawford is so damn accurate. It backfired on him. But I really think that Crawford's inactivity emboldened Porter. And let me tell you something else. He goes up there and fights Jamel Charlo and gets in an exchange with Charlo, swinging all wild and crazy like that. Charlo will put his ass to sleep because Charlo is going to take that boy's shot. I don't know if Crawford can take Jamel's best shot. He can't go up there doing all that wild, crazy shit with Jamel. I
think if anything, it's just a little bit of leverage, a little bit of cap. He can, easily make 147. And I think he did at 140. I think he really wants to, if he has opportunity. Well, I take that back. I think he would, in the past, he would have loved the opportunity to clean out that division. I think right now he's just not going to wait around. It might take 5 years to do that. I had thought about him going up to 154. I don't think he'll go right at Charlo. I think he'll kind of put Charlo out there as a kind of tantalizing dish, but he'll fight somebody just to maybe get acclimated. But I wouldn't be surprised to see him.
But if you go look at his history though. So Charlo holds what, the WBO?
He's got all 3 belts except for the maybe the IBF. I think Castaño has the IBF.
So if he's still somehow affiliated with Top Rank, think about it. When he went to 147, he was gifted the WBO fight, right?
No, he wasn't gifted that fight. Horn beat Pacquiao.
He was gifted the fight with Horn.
I mean, it was just easy to make because it was just easy to make because it was all under.
All right, fair enough.
I think if you go back, if I'm not mistaken, I think he did the same thing at 140. He went as soon as he went to 140, he fought for the WBO. It seemed like he followed the 140, the WBO path to championships. So
that's
if he goes
the
to
WBO will let you go up.
Who has the WBO?
At 140?
At 154.
154, it's Charlo. Got 150, got the belt.
So that's what I'm saying. I think that fight could be made because of
but let me tell you something. If Crawford don't sign some sort of long-term deal with Allen and Allen friends, he ain't getting that fight. Just ask Ennis. Ennis ain't fighting none of them dudes at 147.
No, but
small correction.
Boy said he could do a fight-by-fight contract.
Yeah, what does Al say?
Hey, so small correction.
You gotta fight. Those are my fighters in my stable. That's why Ennis can't
I'm
get
talking about Top Rank. Top Rank said they could still do a fight on fight-by-fight basis. He still wants to do the Josh Taylor fight.
So, hey, one correction. The WBO champion at 154 is Castaño.
It's Castaño. Okay, excuse me.
Castaño, excuse me.
So Charlo has the
like
three.
that sound like a
that sound doable. That's not an
easy fight. That's not an easy
fight. That's not an easy fight. What I'm saying is I think he might go towards that. The guy's a little bit inexperienced, but I mean he's a good fighter. But I could see that. But there's business that needs to be handled. All right, so let's go. Wait,
hold on, real quick, Cam. Real quick, because this has been thrown about in different corners of the internet. What do you guys think about Crawford versus a 40-year-old Triple G who's got one foot out the door?
No, man. It's like, come on, man. That's mockery, man. It's like, come on.
Is it?
It does nothing. It does not. It doesn't do anything for boxing. It's just for it's just for entertainment. What is
jumping up and getting those 2 belts? If Triple G has got 2 belts, he's got one kind of a belt, but one real belt. He goes and beats Murata. Now he's a 2-3 belt unified guy. He's 40 years old. He's battle worn. Crawford goes up there. David shaking his head. David, Triple G just hit too hard.
No, man. Let me see. Look, man. Hey, Crawford, man. How old is Crawford? 36, 37 years old?
No, he's 33, Dave. They're about to turn 34. He's the same age as Demetrius. 33.
33.
Triple G, 40. He's a Kazakhstani 40 and been through wars.
But wait, what's Triple G's weight, man?
160, a small 160.
Yeah, nah, man. I just hope, if anything, 147, maybe 154. I just say that, bro. I mean, I would, I try to get all I could get at where I'm at now at welterweight, then maybe up there at Charlo or something. I don't know why 36, man. I got something else on my mind or something, but
he just turned 34.
Hey, so do y'all think Keith Thurman calling him out is cap?
Yes. That's a
Keith
cash out.
Thurman is the definition of cap. It's like
Yeah, that dude.
Like nobody takes them really serious. All right, so we got about 10 minutes left in the show. We have a fight this weekend. That's on the docket. We got Teofimo Lopez against Kambosos. Am I saying that right?
Kambosos.
You know, you can always tell them when they work for the CIA and FBI, they know how to say all of the foreign names correctly. It's like, actually is Kambosos. He's from the southern region of Kazakhstan.
Teofimo gonna knock this dude out in
Yeah.
4 rounds or less.
But if he play around though,
Oh.
old boy swing haymakers, but they just untrained haymakers.
Yeah, this kind of was a debacle. I mean, it was one of those things that it was a fighter who wanted to kind of go independent, right? Looking at the kind of, well, it wasn't even that. He was not looking at the model of Mayweather, but he found an opportunity, a loophole by taking a fight to a purse bid. And I don't know if it backfired on him, but he talked about his own like bouts of depression and suicidal thoughts. He's kind of went through some things like through this. I don't know if you get a chance, go and kind of look at some interviews, but he's been through some things. I'll say that. I don't know what this fight does. Hopefully he puts a couple of dollars in his pocket. I still think that he is. I still have him rated as the best out of that group. Lopez, because he beat by beating the boy.
Keep in mind, he's 135. He's 135. Remember, Dave, Shakur is 130. Shakur is 130.
Shakur is 130.
Yeah, and Teofimo's 135.
I'm talking about lightweight.
But Tank is 140.
Tank is kind of 135, but like Tank, I don't know. I mean, like Tank has up there. I mean, what Tank's fighting at what? I mean, he has a belt at 140. What's he fighting at now?
I think he's at 140 now, but he'll do 135 easy.
But he vacated that belt at 135 that he had. So I know you got ties to that camp. I mean, you consider him still a 135er? I thought he was done with 135.
I think if this cat really wanted to fight Tank Lopez like they would, I think Tank would fight that boy anyway just to shut that mouth up.
Yeah. If we're considering Tank at 135, I mean,
do you think that Lopez is angling for a fight with
Josh Taylor?
Haney?
Josh Taylor? Josh Taylor at 140.
Or Haney, man. I mean,
who fighting Josh Taylor at 140?
Teofimo Lopez. He say he dropping the belts.
Yeah, but I don't think Taylor going back down to 140. I think he's staying at he's trying to go to 147, right?
He will for 140. Who he gonna fight at 147 over on Top Rank?
No. I mean, they were trying to put him with Crawford, but Crawford is gone. Crawford is not Top Rank business anymore. It's done. It's done. Yeah.
So Josh Taylor gonna have to go on Weight Watchers one more time, and I really think Josh Taylor is really killing himself to make that weight. I saw
he is.
A picture of him next to Terrance Crawford earlier this week. Man, Josh Taylor is gigantic, gigantic 140, and that weight cut is really starting to get to him. I saw in that Ramirez fight, he was the last 5 rounds of that fight. He was really struggling the last 5 rounds of that fight, but he'll do it for Teofimo. That's a pay-per-view type of fight. And Teofimo will be going for his first real, true, undisputed run because he's not undisputed right now.
Because of Haney, because of Devin Haney,
because of the WBC. I don't even want to say because of Devin Haney, because of the WBC.
Yeah, because he's running from scared the boogeyman.
Who running scared from who?
Oh, Devin Haney.
Oh, yeah. I don't think that's a tough ass fight for Teofimo, even though I think Teofimo ultimately wins that fight.
No, I'm being sarcastic. That is not a tough fight. I think he sleeps that young man.
He probably does, but that's not an easy fight. That's not an easy fight at all for Teofimo. That's a competitive fight until
he's talented. I think Teofimo is experienced and all of that. You know, this dude's been in with champions. I mean, they both have. And I tell you, what I'm saying, he fought Linares or whatnot, who was at the end of his rope, but still a good fighter. he had him doing that little, he had him do like what's that little, had him doing a little beatbox.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had him doing a little beatbox there.
That's what happens when your music producer dad insists on fucking training you for championship caliber fights. You know Mike McCallum works with Devin Haney. Arguably the greatest single living repository of boxing knowledge in boxing right now. Eddie Futch plus George Benton all in one fucking mind. And this guy who used to make beats, I don't know if I know Dave was music producer too, but this guy who
that's an artist, man. Y'all got to listen to my song too.
What I'm saying is, why is Devin Haney's dad? Why is he still? Why not let Mike McCallum run that show, man? I mean, maybe the dynamic isn't there. Maybe
man, it's called ego, man. It's EGO.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, that ego gonna get stretched, and it's yeah. Anyway,
I mean, it happens, man. We saw whatchamacallit picking up his son. I mean, I don't know if that's ego, but because he's actually a good trainer.
Who, Kim Porter?
Nah, the one that got slept by Tank. And he's actually a good fighter.
Who you talking
about? Santa Cruz.
Leo Santa Cruz.
Santa Cruz.
Oh yeah.
His pops was like shaking, like touching him on his.
Like his pops was like get up, nigga, like you fighting, nigga. That shit was crazy.
By Tank.
He was unconscious.
I mean, he was like, that's just so hard to just see your seed, like, and that's what y'all wanted pointed. Like, y'all not satisfied until they just like stretched out.
That's what
now you can start the fight now. You should start.
That's what would have happened to Porter. If Ken Porter had
he was gonna get like
Terrence Crawford was going to stretch that nigga. That nigga legs was gone. Crawford was getting ready to stretch that dude out, man.
Yeah. I don't know how Randy say that Joker could have finished the fight, man. That Joker.
He had a minute 50 seconds. He had almost 2 minutes left in that round.
So, let's change the subject. Y'all ain't giving your boy, just like the boxing world don't give the boy no credit. What about your boy Andrade petitioning the WBO to make the...
Damn, is that in the regular news already? That shit hit the news?
Yeah.
Really?
Oh man, I thought I had some fucking inside info for y'all and shit.
I want to give credit where credit, because I thought you was giving him credit for that farce of a fight. But yeah, I will give him credit for that.
Yeah. I mean, Quigley's the only guy that would step in the ring. I mean, and Quigley got his jaw broke that first round. They said that nigga jaw was fucking cracked after the first round.
And that dude got a lead. Just a wild lead, fucking.
It's just crazy. It's just like it's almost like a catapult. He
got a lot of leverage on that thing. Demetrius always had long ass motherfucking arms.
Oh, he does. Yeah, he got long limbs and all that. But I want to.
We'll see. This is going to be very, very interesting because I think the WBC would be happy as I don't know what to order this fight. Because they can't be happy with the cut they're getting off of Jamal Charlo versus Jesus Antonio Banderas and fucking Razor Ramon and whoever else this dude has been fighting, man. And the WBO can't be happy with the cut they getting from Andrade Quigley and Andrade Countendokwa and that's a big time fight. I mean, I don't know if it's a pay-per-view fight. But that's a big time fight. I know that's a big time fight, but we'll see. We'll see.
When it comes to when it comes to shaking things out, like I mean, those are fights that we are concerned about. It's high skill level. For some reason, I'm not that encouraged by the fight.
Charlo.
I don't know, like the Charlos, particularly the kind of big one that's older by a minute. I don't know. They think that if you can like hold out and like that earns you something that earns you a big fight or something like while other people are fighting. But all right, so we are about that time, right at an hour. I think it was a good and lively show. We would definitely not do any kind of watch party for this, the Lopez Kambosos. But we will pick it up again. It's actually going to be Thursday night when we release this. But I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. Guys, I want y'all to stay on just one quick second. And